What's going on, everyone? Today's tutorial is for a nested query macro that is going to automatically calculate and output the damage of a Paladin's Divine Smite in the Roll20 virtual tabletop. If you're like me, you probably love the automation and auto calculation that you can get out of these character sheets, and if you've ever played a Paladin, you've probably found it annoying that you have to type out the dice pool for your Divine Smite damage, and that's not counting the mental math of making sure that you have the right amount of dice for the spell slot that you expended. This macro that I'm going to show you today is going to condense all that down into a couple of mouse clicks and is going to do the math the right way every single time, including critical hits. You can find the text for this macro down in the video description, and despite the fact that it is quite lengthy and looks rather complicated, it's honestly just a matter of copying and pasting into your character sheet. So go ahead and copy the text from the video description, open your Paladin's character sheet, and go into the center middle of the sheet to the Attacks and Spellcasting section, where we're going to click on the plus sign on the left-hand side. The first thing we got to do is assign a name to our macro, so I'm going to call mine Divine Smite. Then we uncheck the blue check mark next to the word attack, and then next to the word damage, we're going to paste our macro in the provided field. Next, we set the associated ability score, change it from strength to blank, and then assign the damage type to be radiant. Finally, click the gear in the upper right hand corner to close out of these options. Our smite macro is now complete, so whenever we make an attack that hits a target, and I'm betting that that critical hit does, we can opt to activate the smite macro. Clicking the macro is going to begin a series of prompts. First prompt is going to ask, did the attack critical hit? Ours did, so we're going to select yes. The next prompt is going to ask which spell slot we are expending to cast Divine Smite. Divine Smite caps out at 5d8, which means levels 4 through 9 are the same. Rather than having all of those choices, I simply set it to be 4+. Since we crit, let's go ahead and use our biggest amount of damage. The final prompt asks if the target is undead or a fiend. If we select yes on this prompt, it will add an additional 1d8 damage, and if we select no, it will simply output the damage as is. Let's go ahead and select yes. The macro is now rolled damage in the chat box, and we can mouse over it to see how many dice were rolled. We see that it rolled 12d8. We selected spell level 4, which was 5d8. We told it was an undead or fiend, which added an additional 1d8 for 6d8, and then because we got a crit, it doubled all dice for a total of 12d8. And that's all there is to it. We make a new attack, we copy paste the macro into that attack, and then once we use the macro, it asks us a series of prompts to make sure it understands whether we crit, what spell slot level we used, and whether the target is an undead or a fiend, and then it outputs the damage. If you have any questions or concerns about this macro, or need help adding it to your game or modifying it to your needs, or maybe you just have something else you'd like to see me explain for Roll20, leave a comment down below and I will assist you in whatever way I can. And we're going to end with a big thank you to Roll20, who has seen fit to include me in their Roll20 Spotlight program, which does help people come and find my channel, but it also provides me a Roll20 Pro subscription, which I do use to unlock additional features and goodies for my games as well as these tutorial videos. So big thank you to Roll20, but also a big thank you to each of you for coming and watching this video.